Why does the NICU team show up at a C-section delivery even if there aren't any other risk factors? So yes, some C-sections are emergencies, but others are just more standard just because labor hasn't progressed or there's other reasons why the C-section is happening. Maybe the mom had a previous C-section, is just going to have a scheduled C-section. So even if everything's okay with mom, C-sections still tend to be high risk for baby. And I think largely the thought is babies that don't get born vaginally don't get that squeeze at delivery and therefore keep fluid in their lungs. But that's not necessarily the whole story. There are little channels in the lungs that work while baby's inside mom to keep fluid within the lungs. Once the baby is going through labor, there are changes in the mom, so she starts to release epinephrine and glucocorticoids, and those channels actually have to flip. And this can happen in any baby. It doesn't have to be a C-section baby, but it's just more common in them. But if those channels don't flip and water doesn't pull out of the lungs, they tend to retain fluid, and that's called TTN, or transient tachypnea of the newborn. So here's a nice little x-ray. There's so kindly an arrow pointing to fluid in the fissure. And overall, this x-ray is just kind of wet looking, which is consistent with TTN. Luckily, time is what fixes it. So if your baby does have TTN after a C-section, you'll see some fast breathing, maybe grunting or retractions. They'll come to the NICU. We can suction. We'll put them on some respiratory support if needed. And then over the next 24 to 72 hours, it will resolve on its own.